To passing new gun control legislation.
Rain dominates the northern portion of the 4 states while it's heat down to the south. The latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And we highlight the dangers of leaving your child in a hot car, even for just a few minutes.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Senators strike a bipartisan deal on new gun control measures, meaning the legislation could be law within the week. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach, topping our first 7 minutes with a 64-34 vote. The Senate takes a first step towards passing new gun control measures. Bipartisan deal expands background checks for people under 21, giving up to 10 business days to review juvenile and mental health records. It provides money for states to enact red flag laws, which allow courts to seize guns from people deemed dangerous. And it closes the so-called boyfriend loophole, preventing partners convicted of domestic abuse that live outside a victim's home from buying a gun. There's also hundreds of millions of dollars for mental health and school safety resources, plus tough penalties for those who buy guns and then turn around and sell the firearm to anyone not legally allowed to own a gun. Senate leaders say they plan to pass the bill by the end of the week, and then it goes to the House, where Speaker Nancy Pelosi has promised a swift passage of the bill in order to send it to President Biden to sign into law. Well, it's hotter than a blister bug in a pepper patch.
Where are you getting these?
Just for you.
Yesterday was?
Well, Monday.
Monday was?
Was a billy goat with a blowtorch.
Billy goat with a blowtorch. And give me the one today again.
Hotter than a blister bug in a pepper patch.
Wow. I was
for
not
you.
familiar with that one. I can't wait until to see what you have on Friday and Saturday when it's easily over triple digits. Yes, you're right. It is another warm one, especially down to the south, Tanya. Look down here, we're in Miami and Grove, Veneta all the way up to 90. And you go, well, what's the big difference here? Why is there a 20-degree gap between what we're seeing in Miami and Grove, Joplin even at 87? Now compare that to 70 in Iola and 75 in Yates Center. And while if you're down south, you might yearn for the temperatures like that. Well, here's why. You would have to be putting up with a morning full of rain. Now, the lightning's tempered off since we were doing the KOAM morning news. But at the same point in time, the rain has been consistent. As a matter of fact, portions up to the northwest approaching 4 inches of rain if we go back to last night. And so that is that large difference in our temperatures right now. Let's go back down to the southern portion of the 4 states because that is exactly where we find the heat advisory, the newest developments now encompassing portions of Ottawa and Delaware County, with those lasting all the way until 8 o'clock tonight. So the farther south you go, that's where we're going to get to the mid-90s. Farther north that you go, no, you're probably going to be hard-pressed even to make it into the mid-80s. We're going to be all over the place today, and we're not quite done with our rain, as it will continue to bubble up from the west. Still not looking at anything severe, but it will carry us all the way through Thursday as well. Lightning overnight into Thursday morning, but no wind, no hail, so we'll call that a winner. And then as Tanya likes to give her sayings for how hot it is, once again, let's see what she's got in stock for us here with Friday and Saturday, cruising up to triple digits.
You will just have to wait and see.
Blister bug and a pepper patch, am I right?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, I remember
it now. That one's fun, isn't it? Just a little bit. All right, thanks, Michael. Well, even a few minutes in a hot car can be fatal for a child. Advocates hope to spread awareness about the danger a car can pose on a hot day. Nathan Vickers takes us to a hot car demonstration in Kansas City.
When the sun shines high above a parking lot, the clock starts ticking.
The majority, about 80% of the increase in temperature happens in the first 10 minutes.
Amber Rollins is the director of Kids and Car Safety, an advocate for preventing heat-related deaths and other tragedies.
There's a lot of things that happen that take children's lives that aren't necessarily preventable, but almost all vehicle tragedies are.
Today she's set up a demonstration, tracking and logging the temperature of the inside of a demo car at different intervals. After an hour, the interior was up to 125 degrees.
We've documented child deaths in cars on days where it was in the 60s outside. So it doesn't have to be a scorcher out there.
She even showed how to take more extreme measures. In Missouri and Kansas, it's legal to break a window to get to a child trapped in a hot car in an emergency.
So many of those injuries can be avoided just by taking some action.
Stuart Hoffman is the director of Charlie's House, which educates families about safety around them. They hosted the demonstration today.
We teach you where there may be a risk, we teach you how to take care of that risk, and then we provide you the materials to make change.
It's a situation no parent or bystander wants to be in. Rollins says by looking before you walk each and every time, you can make sure your child stays safe.
We hear these stories on the news every summer, and most people believe that that's something that would never happen to them.
And just a reminder, in Missouri and Kansas, it is legal to break a window in case of a child emergency. But when it comes to animals and adults, it's legal in Kansas, but not in Missouri. According to the CDC, more than 600 heat-related deaths occur every year in the U.S. One of the most common places is at construction work sites. The crew of RFB Construction in Pittsburgh combats the heat by wearing hats and thin, long-sleeve shirts, staying hydrated with water and electrolytes, and adjusting their start and stop times.
A lot of people be asking us, why you guys wear long sleeves? You know, we wear long sleeves because, I mean, when you're working out here in the heat, you sweat. And if you get a little cold breeze, that'll cool you down. So that's one of the reasons why we wear the long sleeve shirts. You know, because we get that, we get asked that a lot.
For more tips on how to stay safe in the heat, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, hurting at the pump? Well, a California man is taking it upon himself to relieve some of that pain as the prices continue to rise. And later, we're making key lime pie cupcakes in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. You may have noticed your KOAM or Fox 14 signal is a little glitchy, but don't worry, it's a sign of progress. This week, we are broadcasting from a lower temporary antenna while a crew installs a new, more technically advanced antenna at the top of our tower. It's the final step in our More Power project. This will allow some viewers who previously lost our signal to get us once again. And if all goes to plan, we'll be back up and stronger than ever very soon. Well, soaring gas prices have been hitting people across the country hard. In California, the average price for a gallon of unleaded is topping $6.38. Michelle Guile introduces us to a Good Samaritan who's helping to ease that pain at the pump.
Well, let me fill up your, is it just 87? Is that the one that
87.
you do? Okay, great.
Bob Morgan rolled into the Shell station in Rancho Santa Margarita Tuesday on fumes.
So we're going to do a full tank, and Bob said he's ran out of gas twice in the last couple of weeks.
Kaylee Goodwin's gas tank was empty too.
He filled up my gas tank completely.
How much is that?
$100.
He is Ray Walter, a Texas transplant with a big heart.
You mind if I give you a hug?
Yes.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay, thank you.
He's moved with his family to Orange County with a mission to do good.
Oh my goodness, $100? That's amazing.
The gift of gas is how Ray's getting started. He posted an offer on Facebook for those struggling to fill up with the sky-high prices.
We're not handing out cash. We'll fill up your tank. And it's, you know, of course, the offer was one person per week. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. But, you know, we're just kind of taking it, you know, instead of one day at a time, almost 1 hour at a time, because the response has been overwhelming.
In fact, in just a few hours, 5 gas tanks were topped off, totaling nearly $500.
I just happened to come across this post about if anybody would need some free gas and it would help. And I'm like, well, I ran out of gas 2 days in a row. Literally, the car stalled. So, yeah, this was perfect.
Ray's generous offer was for one struggling person per week, which he quickly surpassed by lunchtime. Wendell Frazier was the 4th person to benefit Tuesday.
If someone could extend their help for gasoline, it's just like paying a bill or putting food on the table at the same time.
Pulling in empty, but leaving with a tank full and overflowing with gratitude.
You know, we're just obviously one family. We can only do so much, but we want to help those that we can help.
Full tank of gas and a full heart for sure. Well, President Biden is expected to call on Congress to temporarily suspend the federal gas tax through the end of September. He's expected to ask states to do the same. The federal gas tax of 18 cents per gallon of gasoline is used to fund repairs for major highways, but officials say they can use other money to fund the Highway Trust Fund for that brief period. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
Can you tell the difference between a key lime and a regular lime? You'll be able to in about 90 seconds.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
You harken back to years past into June's about what time we would start popping up the drought monitor. But of course, then you think about with the end of April, our full month of May, and you have to think there's no way that we could be concerned about drought. But just in the span of 2 weeks, we're starting to show up on the drought monitor. Now, I want to point out our annual precipitation. Go back to January 1. We're still 5.3 inches above normal, but for the month, we're down 1.8 inches. And so there we go. We're starting to see the dry category up here in the southern portion of southeast Kansas, pretty much along and just a little bit to the north of the Kansas-Oklahoma state line. And while we haven't seen much expansion of it, we know what everything out to the west of us is going to look like because it seemingly hasn't changed in years. It is something for us to keep our eyes on. That's why this morning it's kind of been a little welcome relief. I know for those of you that may have had outdoor plans in the northern portion of the 4 states, that is of no solace to you. But once again, with the vegetation, needed just a little rain, and that's exactly what we've picked up. On that dividing line of Highway 54, we have really been able to stay to the north of that, tempered our lightning from what we had this morning, but every now and then some pockets of heavy rain as well. Let's zoom in here. Like I said, right along Highway 54 is where we're seeing it, and it's pretty much followed 54 all the way across the state line. If you have afternoon trips and you need to be rolling up to KC, it's slow moving, so it really is not in a hurry to go anywhere. Take a look at the precipitation. Overnight is really when it started, and see that pocket of orange right there. And just to the northwest of Garnett, they are now up to 4 inches of rain. They did have a flood warning earlier. We've been able to go ahead and let that expire. Joplin sits at 87 degrees, do have a heat index in effect. 93 is where we stand right now. So go ahead and add about 6-7 degrees to everybody on the other side of 54. For those of you that are up in Chanute, Fort Scott, Nevada, those temperatures, not a big difference between what you're seeing and what it feels like when you walk outside. Just make sure you got your umbrella when you walk outside. As overnight we saw the winds do the domino effect, shift down from the north as that low pressure front is upon us. And look at that diagonal line that you see right there. We got shifting winds. They just want to about go here, there, and everywhere. So while we're able to avoid any severe thunderstorm warnings, any flood warnings with the morning rain, we still do have heat advisories. And those are in effect for our counties throughout northeast Oklahoma, lasting until 8 o'clock tonight. And that gray category you see right there, air quality warnings. Now, while they don't impede upon any of our counties, do want everybody to know that when it comes to breathing problems, especially COPD, if anybody, you or anybody in the family has that, when you get into the peak driving hours, think about the morning commute and the evening commute. Also, too, if your neighbors are doing a lot of lawn work because they've got those gas-powered mowers and trimmers running, best thing to do is probably try to stay inside and avoid that. Now, the watches and warnings that we do have for the contiguous 48, oh my, are we going to see them spread quickly here for the next couple of days, because all of this heat ranging down here to the south, it is going to be upon us after we get rid of our rain for today and into tomorrow. So our temperatures really for today and tomorrow pretty seasonable, a little bit above, especially down to the south. But as this rain continues for tonight into Thursday, the cloud cover helps out, as does the northerly breeze, and then this pushes out Thursday night. After that, well, good news is no worries on the severe thunderstorm risk map, but after that, oh, hello Gulf moisture. And what that's going to do is lift those heat index readings in between 105 and 110 on Friday and Saturday.
Well, sounds like we need to be prepared for some extreme heat this weekend.
Well, what's happening is this is that one that's coming off of New Mexico like this, and so as it moves over, it's all that Gulf moisture sitting down there, it's simply going to replace it.
I don't want to be in a pepper patch with a blister bug today.
Yeah, and I can't remember the name of the bug. I remember the pepper
blister
patch.
bug.
Yes, in the pepper patch.
Yeah, or billy goat with the blowtorch.
And the blowtorch, yes.
All right, thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's fourth state hero, Chief Petty Officer Driett Younger in the U.S. Navy. Joplin native, served in the South Pacific in 1942. He earned the Sharpshooter Medal. To Chief Petty Officer Driett Younger, we thank you, our fourth state hero. Looking for a tropical treat? Today, Howard shows us how to make key lime pie cupcakes in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
It's not unusual for us to find key lime pie on our favorite restaurant menu or in the freezer case at the market. But do you know what makes key limes different from regular limes? Here are some regular limes, also known as Persian limes. As you can see, their skin is deep green and they're about the size of a billiard ball. And when you taste them, get ready to pucker up. Now these are key limes. See how much smaller they are? And their skin is lighter and much thinner. As for the taste, it's a bit smoother and milder, which makes them perfect for the cupcakes we're whipping up today. After baking a white cake mix that we've taken up a notch by adding some key lime juice and zest, we cut a hole in the center of each one with an apple core or a paring knife. Then we fill these with some canned key lime pie filling before topping them with a homemade buttercream. A few graham cracker crumbs go on top, and there you have it. Everything you love about a key lime pie in the form of a cupcake. I really do hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our key lime pie cupcakes so you can enjoy the goodness of summer all year long. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a tasty pucker-up way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
One of my favorite flavors. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our four-state market prices.
The old pop-ups keep coming and going for the rest of today into Thursday. Not looking at anything severe. Give the northern portion of the four states a little bit of a break there by the time we get done with it. And nice thing is, we do not turn up on the severe thunderstorm risk map. Gives us a little break from our temperatures. 90, that's not too bad for the next 2 days. Because by the time we get to Friday, 90's gonna feel nice and relaxing.
It's all relative, I guess.
I have to ask you if you've ever heard this saying.
Yeah,
It's hotter than a blister bug in a pepper patch.
I've heard it once, and that was just now.
All right.
I'm not the only one.
I like it.
What do you have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5, COVID-19 shots are now available to the youngest children. In Health Watch, the common questions parents have about the vaccine. Plus, we're going to hear from a local pediatrician on the recommendations for vaccinating children under 5. And the Missouri Treasurer stops in Joplin to discuss how the MoBucks program works to benefit farmers and businesses. Hope you join us for those stories. A whole lot more, of course. It's all coming up today on KOAM News at 5.
And thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.